Hey, happy Sunday. Come on in the room. I am I'm happy to be here. I hope that if you're here live that you're excited about being here. I'm Renita Alexander, the Leadership Locksmith, and this is Set It Up Sunday. So, this is my weekly conversation, my weekly teaching, training, lesson, whatever you want to call it. It's all about setting up your week, your month, your life for success. And I do it on Sunday nights, sort of following a pattern that I established when I was actually on active duty in the Air Force. And so one of the things that I would do is look at what I had scheduled, what I had planned, what my daughter had scheduled and planned for the week. And make sure that all of those roles, all of those things that I wanted to accomplish for the week were included. And then I would, allow other things to fit around those sort of big rocks. I call them rocks and rolls. So the things that were foundational to what I was doing in the military that were helping, propel me forward in my career, but also equally important, the things that I needed to do as a mom, be it something that my daughter may had scheduled, or just something that I wanted to do to make sure that she understood the importance of her importance in my life, and the things that I wanted to do to make sure that she had the quality of life that I wanted her to have. So it's something I started doing then. I would just, again, like I said, go through what was going on with me for the week and create some pockets for me to do and be all the things that I wanted to do and be. And so kind of carrying that tradition to my training and to what I'm doing as a leadership trainer and coach. So, this past week in all my social media sharing, it's all been about self care. So now we all have different definitions of self care. I'd be curious if you're watching me live, say hey, first of all, and then, share your self care tips. I'm going to share some, but I would love to see and for you to share with the audience whenever they may join us. What are some go-to self-care tips that you have for yourself? I've shared a few this past week. I shared some things on my story on my personal page. And I've shared some tips also in the Facebook group. But I've been focused on all the ways that we take care of ourselves. And so the way, we take care of our physical, our mental, our emotional, and spiritual health so we can be the best versions of ourselves. I want to be the least stressed, the most aware, the most self-aware, the best fed, and the most holistically healthy version of myself, so that I, can have the stamina and the strength to do the things that I'm supposed to do for as long as I can. So that's my goal, and it's how I kind of plan what it is I'm doing. So I incorporate things in the morning so that I can show up the way I want to show up. I incorporate physical fitness as a part of my daily routine so I can look and feel the way I want to look and feel when I do show up. So it's about, the physicality, but it's also about the mental and emotional and spiritual piece. All of that for me is a part of the grounding that helps me show up the way that I want to show up. And what I've noticed is when I'm not taking care of me, when I'm, stuck, when I'm, self-medicating, when I'm avoiding emotions, when I'm pleasing other people, not setting boundaries, when I'm being compliant, when I'm being selfless to the point of neglecting, what I need to do for me, then I'm not as aware, I'm not paying attention, and then I'm not showing up the way that I, want to show up. I did photo shoot. I think it was a week before last, and I was just going through some things emotionally, and I thought I was okay, but I think I was doing a little avoidance. And when I got the pictures back, I could see that I was not my normal self. I wasn't showing up the way that I wanted to show up, and so I was like, let me reflect, let me think about what I was going through and what I was doing and what I wasn't doing that resulted in this result, that generated this result. So it's I'm sharing with you, even though I'm a coach and I'm all about leading yourself, we all have those periods where we're not doing the things, we're not taking care of ourselves in a way to show up the way that we want to show up. And so I share that as an example, personal example of, me not necessarily doing what I need to do to show up that the way I want to. And so, all of the things that I mentioned that we don't do are things that we can and should do to take care of ourselves. And, a lot of times when we think about self care, we think about spa treatments and getting, external things taken care of. But it's as much about the internal as it is about anything else. So, whatever, you need to do to keep yourself in a calm and connected place. So, be it prayer, be it meditation, be it just getting quiet and still, be it the physical internal piece, when you are exercising and all the things that happens to you internally, from a hormonal perspective, that can help you then feel better emotionally and spiritually and mentally. It's all connected. I know for me, when I am feeling physically bad, it impacts how I feel, how I, feel emotionally. And those things that, our bodies are telling us, our feelings are telling us, they are telling us things about how we're processing our experiences. And so we want to be aware of those things that our bodies, our emotions are telling us, and, act accordingly. Or, if there's things that we are doing that perhaps are making us feel bad, then, perhaps we should stop doing those things. So awareness is such a big part of the self-care. It's just being aware of what we're feeling and honoring our feelings, be it, our physical feelings, be it our emotional feelings, be it, what we're thinking about, how we're feeling spiritually. So all of those things are important to the self-care. And, obviously the physical is a part of that. So, the things that we can do to, keep ourselves healthy are going to make us feel better mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So again, it's really all connected. The boundaries that we create for people who may want access to us. I talked about this a little bit for during Just Breathe, that ended right about 20, 30 minutes ago. I was on Clubhouse with Just Breathe. And, one of the things I was talking about is access. Not everybody deserves access to who we are. We have to be okay with taking care of ourselves, which may mean that we're creating boundaries for people who are bringing things to our lives that we don't want. So we are energetic beings. And when we're in each other's spaces, we're sharing energy. And so I'm sure you've walked into a room or a space where, immediately you knew that something was off. For those of you that are married, I'm sure you have experience knowing that something was off with your spouse, or knowing without a word being exchanged, that something was off with your spouse. You felt your spouse's energy. And so we're energetic beings, and we come into the spaces that are shared spaces, and we impact each other. But we are responsible for taking care of our energy, so that we are projecting, positivity into the spaces that we occupy. And everybody should be doing that same thing. So we don't necessarily have to take on the energy of other people. We can, let them know that perhaps we don't need to be in their space. So, it's not just the physical piece, it is the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual piece. We want to make sure that we are paying attention to all of those aspects of our lives so we can be as holistically healthy as we can possibly be. So, but, I know you're saying, Renita, I don't have time to do all that. What are some things that I can do to, give myself a minute to take care of myself, incorporate self-care into my super busy schedule? So I do have some tips that I shared earlier this week, and I want to share them again. So for those of you that are, working full time, maybe you're going back to work, maybe you're spending a lot of time on Zoom or whatever platform that you're using, sharing your space in cyberspace, sharing cyberspace with coworkers or friends or family. If you're not having those in-person gatherings, and that is one of the tips, is just to move around every hour to, let your brain have a rest for a minute, just, where you're not thinking. I've talked to people who do like back to back to back to back Zoom meetings. You've got to get up and move, get the blood circulating. Our attention spans really don't last that long without some break. And so, when we go hours and hours and hours, we're probably not showing up the best way that we can, and we're also not absorbing information that we may need to do our job. So get up, move around, let your brain take a minute, take a break. The next thing is to breathe. Now, I have a book, Just Breathe. I do Just Breathe on Clubhouse. I'm all about the inhaling and the exhaling to help regulate stress, to help regulate just, how we show up, to calm ourselves down, to give ourselves a minute to respond to what we are experiencing in the world versus reacting to what we may be experiencing in the world. So there's all kinds of breathing techniques out there. I use sort of the belly breathing to inhale through my nose and then let my diaphragm expand my abdominal area, and then let the diaphragm and the abdominal muscles help me press out air through my mouth to sort of slow my thoughts, my breath, my heart rate down, and let go of any stress that I might be feeling. You can also sort of combat any overstimulation you may have through watching television, or something that has you all hyped up, with some relaxation exercises, just like non sleep deep rest, like mindfulness. So focusing on a thought or focusing on your breath, to just kind of so that you're not focusing on things that may be happening around you. Our mindfulness is you're focusing on one thing, or maybe you are paying deep attention to kind of what is going on around you, or maybe you're doing a body scan. But basically, it's like you want to give your all those billions of thoughts that are crowding in. You want to take a break from those. The other thing is, if you have to use your phone, especially at night time as you're getting ready to go to bed, make sure you're using it to follow a guided meditation or something, but you're not scrolling through social media. I know we all have a tendency to do that. Sometimes I just have to make myself put my phone away. But all that's kind of the overstimulation I've talked about before. When we are looking at our screens, that also has an impact on our ability to sleep. So especially as you're getting prepared to go to bed, you want to turn all those things off. And then the other thing is, whatever you're doing for self-care, make sure it's something that you actually enjoy doing. So a lot of times people they'll hear about something, saying that, oh, this, meditation, I talk about that a lot. So it may not be, meditation may not be your thing. It may not be something that you enjoy doing. And so if it's not something that you enjoy doing, don't do it. But the bottom line is tending to our needs, be they physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual, setting boundaries to protect our energy, and speaking our truth, saying the things that we need to share with the world about us. All of those things are self-care. And so I encourage you to do those things, to take care of yourself. It's not selfish, it is self care. So I would be curious to see what people are saying. I see some people are on, yeah, I see people are on social media, on Facebook. Habiba's saying, hey. And some of the things that she does, prayer and praise, absolutely. One of the things I like to do, and I talk about this a lot, is I'm frequently out by the lake. So one of the things that I really enjoy doing to just kind of get myself in a calm space that I start the day with is, walking. If I can go out by the lake and be near water, that's just a bonus. I have a whole routine that I do in the morning. That's just to get me get me in a calm space so that I can do what I need to do. Um, but yeah, Janet, is saying she loves a good walkabout. Uh, yeah, so all of those things that we do to keep our energy levels at a calm and a even keel, all of those things that we do will just help us show up in the ways that we want to show up. And again, it's not anybody else's responsibility to help us show up the way we want to show up. It is primarily our responsibility. We're the only ones that can give ourselves joy, or our connection with source and creation, whatever that looks like to each of us. But we are the only ones that can do that for ourselves. Now, other people and other circumstances can enhance what it is that we are feeling, but ultimately we have to create that for ourselves. And so I hope this has encouraged you to focus on taking care of yourself before you can take care of anybody else. You have to be able to take care of yourself. One of the things I shared Friday, the last thing I shared on this theme, was the whole directive that we get when we are in an airplane to put your mask on first. And yet, oftentimes we are, flying from one crisis to another that's been created by other people, without taking care of ourselves first. We're going here, there, and other, and we can't breathe. And so, the reason that directive is in place is because before you can help other people, you have to be in the best place possible for yourself. You can't give from an empty cup. You can't give from a space of lack. We have to fill ourselves up first before we can offer anything to other people. So I hope that's been useful and helpful. Thank you all so much for joining us. If you're here live, thank you. If this is after the fact, please share those self-care tips that you incorporate into your life to help you show up and be the best person that you can be. I'll be here again next Sunday, same time, same place at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, with some more tips around setting up your life intentionally so that you show up the way that you want to. Have a great rest of your evening. Talk to you soon.